In a world fueled by instant gratification and emotional overexposure, peace has become a luxury. Every notification, every argument, every unmet expectation pulls us deeper into emotional chaos. And ironically, the more we crave happiness, the more we become slaves to external circumstances. But what if the real path to inner peace isn't about chasing pleasure, but mastering detachment? Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius taught that true strength lies not in controlling the world, but in mastering our reactions to it. Emotional detachment is not apathy, it's the profound wisdom of choosing where your energy goes. Today, we will explore how emotional detachment, true Stoic detachment, is the ultimate weapon for achieving inner peace and living a life of high value. It's not about being cold, it's about becoming unshakable. Ready to step into your power? Let's begin. Emotional detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you care wisely. Stoics believe that pain comes not from events themselves, but from our judgments about those events. Losing a job, a relationship ending, these are facts. Whether they destroy you or liberate you depends on your interpretation. To detach emotionally is to see things for what they are, not worse than they are. You can still feel emotions, but you are no longer ruled by them. You observe your emotions as a wise guardian, not a panicked participant. This skill allows you to respond instead of react, a hallmark of inner strength. Through detachment, you become like a strong tree rooted deeply into the earth. Storms may come, winds may howl, but you remain steady. You are no longer dragged through life by every fleeting feeling. Instead, you choose your path with calm clarity. When you detach, you stop outsourcing your happiness to things you cannot control. You realize you have very little power over the actions of others, the economy, or even your own body at times. What you can control is your mind, and that's enough. Stoic wisdom teaches that peace comes from aligning your expectations with reality. The world is chaotic, people are unpredictable, and suffering is inevitable. When you accept these truths, life becomes lighter. You stop resisting what is and begin flowing with it. This mindset creates an inner sanctuary that no one can invade. Your peace is no longer fragile or conditional. It is a fortress built on the unshakable foundation of acceptance and wisdom. Emotional detachment, therefore, is not a weakness. It is the ultimate form of self-respect. Living a high-value life is not about constant achievement or endless hustle. It is about living with intention, integrity, and emotional sovereignty. When you detach, you no longer seek validation from the world. You become validation for yourself. People sense this energy. When you are emotionally independent, you naturally radiate strength and dignity. You are no longer needy, no longer desperate for approval or afraid of rejection. Ironically, this makes you even more attractive, respected, and trusted. High-value living means knowing your worth, setting boundaries, and not negotiating your peace. Detachment teaches you to value yourself not because others do, but because you understand your inner treasure, and you guard it fiercely. Detachment is a practice, not a switch you flip. It starts with awareness, noticing when emotions try to hijack your mind. Next comes discipline, training yourself to pause, breathe, and assess before reacting. Stoic exercises like premeditatio malorum, imagining worst-case scenarios, strengthen your resilience. Journaling daily helps anchor your thoughts. Ask yourself, what is within my control? What judgments am I adding to this event? Over time, you start naturally separating facts from emotions. Life becomes less like a battlefield and more like a dance. Meditation, mindfulness, and embracing discomfort are also powerful tools. When you practice discomfort voluntarily, small problems no longer feel catastrophic. You build an inner armor that life's challenges cannot penetrate. Many people mistakenly believe that detachment means suppressing emotions. But Stoicism never teaches us to reject our feelings. It teaches us to understand and regulate them. Suppression is denial, and denial breeds inner conflict. Detachment is clarity, and clarity brings peace. When you suppress emotions, they don't disappear. They go underground. They fester, twist, and eventually come back even stronger. But when you detach, you face them directly, without fear. You say, yes, I feel anger, but I don't have to act on it. I see you, and I let you pass. This is emotional maturity. Not running away from your feelings, but also not becoming a slave to them. You hold space for your emotions like a wise parent, not a frightened child. This subtle shift turns your inner world from a battlefield into a sanctuary. Nowhere is detachment more misunderstood and more necessary than in relationships. We often confuse love with possession, validation with connection. But true love, as Stoics might say, is rooted in freedom, not control. To love without attachment is to appreciate without clinging. It's to say, I care for you, but I do not need you to complete me. You give your presence, not your dependency. You stop demanding others to fix what only you can heal within yourself. And here's the paradox. When you stop clinging, love flows more freely. You become a source of peace, not pressure. And only from that space can genuine intimacy and respect grow, not from fear, but from freedom. Detachment isn't just psychological, it's profoundly spiritual. Every spiritual tradition, from Buddhism to Stoicism to Sufism, teaches the same truth. The more you cling, the more you suffer. The less you need, the more you're free. To detach is to live in alignment with the impermanence of life. Everything is borrowed. Your body, your loved ones, your achievements. Detachment is not ingratitude, it's reverence. You honor what you have, knowing it could vanish tomorrow, and you love it even more because of that. When you master detachment, you are no longer a prisoner of fear. You do not fear death, loss, failure, or judgment, because you've let go of the illusion of control. This is the doorway to true liberation, not by adding more to your life, but by releasing what you never needed to carry. We live in an age where emotional overstimulation is the norm. Social media constantly feeds us highlights of others' lives, stirring envy, anxiety, and self-doubt. News cycles are designed to trigger outrage. Algorithms exploit our attention, not our well-being. Detachment today is not just a virtue, it's a survival skill. To remain emotionally detached in this digital battlefield, you must reclaim your mind. That means curating your information diet, setting digital boundaries, and knowing when to unplug. Just as you protect your body from toxic food, you must protect your soul from toxic content. Constant connectivity is not connection, it's consumption, and it's costing your peace. The Stoics would urge us to guard our minds like a fortress. Epictetus said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit. In a world designed to provoke, emotional detachment becomes rebellion. You reclaim your agency. You become the master of your attention, your emotions, and ultimately, your life. Emotional detachment is not a one-time decision. It's a daily discipline. Like physical strength, mental clarity must be trained consistently. The Stoics weren't just philosophers, they were practitioners. Their wisdom came from rituals, small, intentional habits that sharpened their inner peace. Start your day with morning reflection. Before the noise of the world creeps in, ask yourself, what is likely to challenge me today? How will I respond? This practice, known as premeditatio malorum, prepares your mind like armor before battle. You're not blindsided by chaos, you're expecting it. End your day with evening journaling. Ask, what did I allow to disturb me today? What did I control? And what did I surrender to? This self-inquiry turns every mistake into a lesson, and every wound into wisdom. Over time, these rituals shift your identity, from emotional reactor to stoic observer, from victim of circumstance to sovereign of your own peace. In today's self-help culture, we re-sold the lie that we must be happy 24/7, that any negative thought is a personal failure. But Stoics understood that life is a tapestry of light and shadow, and pretending otherwise only deepens our suffering. True resilience comes from embracing the full spectrum of human experience, not denying half of it. By rejecting the tyranny of forced positivity, we free ourselves to feel deeply, learn swiftly, and move forward with genuine strength. Detachment isn't about suppressing sadness or anger, it's about witnessing them without judgment. When a difficult emotion arises, you greet it like a visitor with a lesson to teach. You might feel grief for a loss or frustration at a setback, and that's okay. What matters is that you don't cling to the feeling or let it define you. In this space of non-attachment, every emotion becomes a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. By dismantling the myth of constant positivity, you reclaim emotional authenticity. You allow joy to be sweeter because you've known sorrow. You make peace with imperfection because you understand it's part of the human condition. And in that acceptance, you discover a higher form of happiness, one that no hurricane of circumstance can ever completely extinguish. When life delivers a gut punch, whether it's a failed venture, a broken relationship, or an unexpected setback, our instinct is to recoil in pain or lash out in blame. Stoic detachment invites a radically different response. View every challenge as raw material for self-improvement. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What virtue can I forge from this?" In the heat of adversity, your emotions will surge: fear, anger, disappointment. Detachment doesn't mean you turn off those feelings. It means you harness them. Channel your frustration into focused action, your grief into newfound empathy, your fear into disciplined preparation. With each obstacle reframed as an opportunity, you become an alchemist, transmuting hardship into resilience, wisdom, and character. This mindset shift is profound. Failures cease to be tombstones marking defeat and become stepping stones toward mastery. You stop fearing mistakes because you recognize their value. You begin to measure success not by external outcomes but by how you grow through struggle. And in that growth, you find a deeper, more durable form of inner peace, anchored not in comfort, but in your unbreakable commitment to progress. Detachment isn't just a momentary shield against hardship. It's the guiding principle that shapes your entire life trajectory. When you craft your long-term vision, ground it not in specific outcomes, but in the virtues you wish to embody: wisdom, courage, temperance, justice. By anchoring your goals in character rather than circumstance, you free yourself from the tyranny of fickle results. Your roadmap becomes less about reaching this milestone and more about becoming this kind of person, no matter what twists and turns life delivers. To weave detachment into your strategic planning, adopt a flexible framework. Set clear intentions for the impact you want to have, but remain indifferent to how and when exactly those impacts materialize. Break big aspirations into smaller, virtue-driven actions. Serve your community this week. Learn a new skill this month. Cultivate gratitude each day, without fixating on applause, accolades, or arbitrary deadlines. This approach transforms your vision from a fragile wish into a living practice, resilient to setbacks and enriched by every experience. Over time, this practice compounds. You'll notice that progress guided by detachment feels steady and sustainable. Failures no longer derail you, they simply redirect you to refine your purpose. Achievements no longer inflate ego, they affirm your commitment to higher values. Ultimately, integrating emotional detachment into your long-term vision ensures that whatever legacy you leave, whether grand or humble, will be defined by the serenity and strength you cultivated along the way. As we arrive at the end of this journey, remember that emotional detachment is not a destination, but a lifelong companion. The Stoics believe that each day offers a new battleground for the mind, and with each choice to observe rather than react, you strengthen your inner citadel. Embrace this promise. Every moment of conscious detachment builds your capacity for serenity, resilience, and true self-mastery. Now, it's your turn. Commit to one small act of Stoic practice right after you finish watching. Perhaps a minute of mindful breathing before you check your phone, or a quick journal entry reflecting on what you can control today. These tiny rituals, repeated consistently, will ripple outward into every area of your life, sharpening your judgment, deepening your relationships, and clarifying your purpose. So here's the challenge. For the next 7 days, practice digital stoicism by curating 1 hour of your day as screen-free, and use that time to reflect on a moment when you might have let emotion override reason. Notice the difference in how you feel and act. Share your experience in the comments below. Let this community become your Stoic forge. Your peace of mind awaits. Will you take the first step?